Hey everyone, I'm Matt Burns and this is TechCrunch Live, where we help founders build better venture-backed businesses. Welcome to the show, and it's been a serious wild ride the last 7 days. There's so much to talk about. SVB collapse, ChatGPT released the 4.0 version, and there's so much more. And did you see that new BlackBerry video or trailer? It looks good. Well, it looks really good, to be honest. You should watch that. Anyway, we have two fantastic guests today for TechCrunch Live. Both are longtime veterans of Silicon Valley and American business. And these episodes are scheduled out months in advance. But these two particular guests are perfect to talk through what's happening right now. First, we have Mamoon Hamid. He's a partner at Kleiner Perkins for nearly 6 years. And before that, he was general partner at Social Capital, which he founded with Chamath. So yeah, Mamoon knows Silicon Valley and can help explain what comes next. And then there's Arianna Huffington, the co-founder of Huffington Post, and in a roundabout way, my former boss back when AOL owned TechCrunch and the Huffington Post, and there's just so much drama. But in 2016, she left the Huffington Post, and then the very next month founded Thrive Global. So far, she's raised $170 million for Thrive in the goal of improving company or wellness of company employees. But I'm not interviewing them. As much as I would like to, Alex Wilhelm is best suited for this interview, so we brought him on board to do this. Alex is the editor-in-chief of TechCrunch Plus, TechCrunch's subscription service. He's great, and you're going to love him, and he's going to talk to Mamoon and Arianna for 25 minutes. Then it's your turn. You're going to have 10 minutes to ask questions through the Hopin platform. If you're not in Hopin, you should have a link on YouTube and Twitter Spaces right now. So with that, I think we can jump right into the interview. One more thing. After the interview, we have pitch practice. So stay through to the interview for that. So that's enough from me. Alex, let's shoot it over to you. It's all you now.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. I did not think we were going to have so much news right before we had this conversation. In fact, we had a prep call the other week, and it was all focused on mental health and employee care and the corporate buying environment. And then everything kind of went boom. So just because we can't not tip our hat at the news, I'm going to have a couple of quick questions about SVB. Then we're going to dive into the other stuff. But just to start, Mamoon, how are your portcos doing? How's Kleiner doing? Is your money safe?
So what a week, Alex. I think since the last time we spoke, I think I came out of COVID quarantine, and then here we are, SVB happened. But it's been, what a week, what a ride it's been. But just to answer your question, everyone's fine. Every company's doing just fine. Every company was able to make payroll on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when it mattered. We, over the weekend, scrambled to set up lines of credit to support our portfolio companies in the case they needed capital to their bank accounts to make payroll, as did many other venture capital firms. So, fortunately, none of those companies actually needed the capital from us, but we were ready, and everyone's fine. Everyone actually is. Number one priority was payroll. That's done. Now it's like day 2, day 3 stuff, which is, what do you do next? And I think there's some stabilization that's happened over the past even 24 hours. And we feel really good about where we are, but I think there's some just thoughts around where to go next in terms of how do you manage your cash at a startup, and what do you do? What are some procedures? And you'll see a lot of that over the coming weeks and months for startups, just to manage cash, which was something that wasn't really talked about prior to this.
Yeah, I think we're having conversations that we never really had before, like how many bank accounts should you have? It's a silly question 2 months ago, but now here we are. And then Arianna, one thing I've been thinking about on these second order effects for founders isn't just can Thrive make payroll? It sounds like you can, but I'm very curious about your customers. Are your customers able to pay you? Do they have money locked up somewhere? Is that showing up in your kind of operational landscape?
No, actually, the first text I got about SVB was from Mamoon saying, "How are we doing? Are you okay? Do you have any money there?" And the truth is that when we closed our Series C that Mamoon Kleiner led, we put all $80 million that we had raised in SVB. But then we moved it only because we got a better rate on the money, which was great. And we had just left the foundation money. Thrive has a foundation, and we had left the money there. Of course, now all those deposits are safe, as we know. But what was interesting, because of course I talked to so many friends who are founders who were going through the uncertainty of the weekend, what was going to happen, how are they going to meet payroll, etc. What was so interesting is how differently founders addressed the crisis. I don't mean just in terms of talking, making decisions, but in terms of how much stress did they take on. So we have exposure to what happened to the bank, but we also have exposure to stress. And part of what we teach is how can leaders be able to stay in what we call the eye of the hurricane in the middle of a crisis. And that's something we all should aspire to, because the truth is we're living in increasingly uncertain and turbulent times. And this is not going to be the last crisis we face. So learning how to do everything you need to do, but not internalize the stress and act in frenetic ways, which of course are then transmitted to your employees and to everyone around you.
So I take it you weren't an enormous fan of venture capital Twitter over the weekend when everyone was being so calm and measured.
So calm and measured. It was very impressive. In fact, all that completely manic and chaotic Twitter conversation was affecting our employees.
Yeah.
So I sent an email to everyone at Thrive just to make sure they knew where we're at, that there was no problem with payroll, that our foundation money was in the process of being transferred in one way or another, and we had no other exposure. And that became increasingly necessary as people were on Twitter.
Well, it's ironic that we're talking about, burnout and stress and employee well-being, but I think that the three of us as workers have had one of the most burnouty last weeks ever. So it's very cogent to the conversation. I'm glad that you both have come out the other side thus far in as good a shape as you have. So let's step back and talk about kind of where Thrive fits into the market, because Mamoon, Kleiner Perkins has made a number of investments, more than I thought, in the broader health space. And I pulled some names: Modern Health, Mental Health in the Corporate World, Nurx, Songbird. There's a bunch of them, including one rather recently. So it seems that you think that technology companies will have a large role to play in overall health care. My question is, are we just building point solutions to a larger problem that we're not attacking at the core? Are we working around the edges of the issue versus trying to get all the way to the middle of it and kind of untie that knot that is American healthcare?
Yeah. So Kleiner Perkins has been investing in healthcare for almost our whole durations of. We were the first check into Genentech in 1977. And since then, a lot of biopharma companies have come along. We were the first check into Invisalign. So we've had a long history of addressing it through devices and biopharma. In the last decade, we've been very active in digital health, whether it's Progeny for fertility services, Teladoc, Livongo, which actually merged as public companies. More recently, Thrive, Modern Health, Future for physical health. It's been a sort of core focus area for us at KP for the past decade. And the reasons are fairly obvious, and most people know this, that healthcare represents about 20% of our GDP and increasing. And so it's pretty wild to think that that's not addressed more efficiently through technology. And I think that's at the core of it. Our personal lives, our work lives have blurred. It's been further amplified through remote work. And there's like this always on level of background stress that we all endure. And I think we've seen that employers want to bear more of the responsibility, which I think they should, as these lines have blurred. And, enter Thrive, Modern Health to help us address not just mental health and wellness. I think that sounds cool, but it's about performance. As an employer, I want to see our employees like performing at their highest level, and how can we enable them to do that? And I think that's where really Thrive fits. And even in the last few days, if you look at just what happened, like intense stress, burnout, and I go back to some of the things that we do at Thrive, which is resets. Arianna, you'll be proud. My reset is like taking one of my kids and just picking them up and hugging them for for 60 seconds and just walking around the house. And that just like resets me and centers me as a person. And so really, these are the things and behaviors that really, it's not just about physical health. It's about, we use our brains all day, every day. And so this is where Thrive comes in and what we do there.
Yeah. So actually, this is a great moment because I had to learn about Thrive when I was prepping for our first call about this. And I think that probably some people in the audience, Arianna, aren't as familiar with Thrive as we kind of need them to be for this conversation. So your company has integrated into a lot of kind of workplace environments where people can do kind of like daily check-ins, if you will, not pulse surveys. Keep in mind, I learned that lesson. And then the company can keep track of overall employee sentiment, burnout, excitement, how they're feeling and so forth. And then offers very small steps that they can take throughout their workday to make improvements in their physical and mental health. Fair?
Fair, and not just during their workday, but during their life, because as Mamoon said, our work life and the rest of our life are very integrated. So in fact, everything we bring to the companies we work with, whether it's Walmart, Accenture, Salesforce, Levi's, we also offer for free to their families. Yeah. And again, there is data here that shows very clearly that if your little girl, Ada, is sick and you are worried about her, you, according to a Cigna survey that came out, are going to be 18% less effective at work. I think probably you're going to be 88% less effective. But anyway, be that as it may, you are going to be affected. So we want to make sure that you have all the Thrive tools at your disposal to deal with not just the stresses at work, but the stresses at home, which influence work. And as Mamoon said, we focus very much on performance and business metrics.
Yeah.
The reason for that is that if you focus only on well-being, what is going to happen inevitably is that during bad economic times or during uncertainty, these are going to be the first benefits to be cut because they are seen as warm and fuzzy and we can't afford them now.
Right.
If a company sees them as directly linked to productivity, attrition, retention, healthcare costs, then they are really part of essential expenditure. And that's been our goal from the beginning.
I want to go back to the product and how it works, because one thing we talked about before is that you guys had a much better response rate when you built Thrive into Slack and Teams and kind of these other kind of major hubs that we all live in as digital workers. And I find it a little bit ironic that Slack, which is both the most important thing in my life and the worst thing in my life, is where I'm supposed to go to do these check-ins to kind of like input the information about how I'm doing. And I was curious, Arianna, isn't there a little bit of tension between the digital world we live in, which seems to be kind of crushing us as workers, and then also trying to integrate the care or the connection point to Thrive in those same environments? Because to me, it's a bit like cooking in the sewer. Like it seems to be kind of clashing.
On the contrary, Alex, the truth is that you and I live either on Slack or Teams or maybe WebEx during the day. And if I ask you to go to the Thrive app or to go to the web to get our micro steps, our content, participate in a challenge, whatever you choose to do, you're less likely to do it than if I come to you.
Yeah.
And I can say, oh, hey, you've been on wall-to-wall Zoom, so you've been on this chat for so long. Can you take 60 seconds to reset? And I send you the reset directly. And I love the 60-second resets because they are based on the neuroscience that while stress is unavoidable, there is no job that is stress-free. There is no life that is stress-free. Cumulative stress is avoidable. And we now know from neuroscience, it takes 60 to 90 seconds to course correct from stress, to move from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system. I give you all that science because it's really important to recognize that what we're dealing with is rigorous and data-driven, and not just something we came up with. And the results are amazing. So on Slack or on Microsoft Teams, you have hundreds of Thrive resets. You can thumbs up or thumbs down, which ones you like. And then we keep feeding you the ones you love and that have a real impact on your nervous system. So
the way that I should think about this then, from your perspective, is sure, Slack and Teams and whoever's still on WebEx, poor folks, get something better. Essentially, you're going to bring.
We work with Cisco, and there are many people who love WebEx.
Are any of those people who love it end users?
They are, because those who care a lot about security. WebEx has incredible cybersecurity.
All right.
So it depends on what's your priority.
My priority is getting off work on time. Now that I have a kid. I like the idea that you're trying to turn these tools that I struggle with in terms of keeping on top of them and using them effectively and not losing my mind into a place where I can actually find a better path forward in work. Because I think the three of us know you could work 24 hours a day and still never be caught up on all your communication channels and so forth. So kind of flipping that is something that I like. So Arianna, back in 2021, I was prepping and I was going back through some blog posts about your last round that Kleiner and Mamoon helped lead. And it said at the time via IVP that you had 100 orgs that were using the product, and now we're nearly 2 years down the road. So how big is the customer base today?
So it has doubled. And we are finding that we have focused more on big enterprises. And we are really going to launch our mid-market and smaller businesses function later, because we are having so much resonance with big enterprises. And of course, the revenue is so much more significant. And the deals are multi-year. And so we have, according to the decisions made by our board, and Mamoon is on the board, of course, we decided to focus on these big whales, as we call them, which have been great during this time.
And then Mamoon, I'm very curious about what else you're seeing in and amongst companies that are similar-ish to Thrive, that play in the same space. Is selling to enterprise the best way to get into the market and then to go to mid-market? Because I've heard for a long time that software companies often start with smaller customers and then go up towards the enterprise. But here in this case, it seems to be kind of the reverse.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think it really does depend. Enterprise, largely speaking, I think we're talking about Fortune 100 type of companies, which is incredibly difficult to penetrate as a startup. But then there's only one in Arianna Huffington with a company like Thrive that can do that. So there's a unique advantage given the 15 books that Arianna's written and all the work that she's done around sleep, that there's quite a bit of resonance with the work that's been done over the past decade by Arianna and her team. So but I would say on sort of speaking more broadly, the attack vector for startups is really more, SMB mid-market, and then you earn the right to go sell to larger companies, and that is certainly the case for most companies that we back.
So the lesson here is, if you want to go big early, get yourself an Arianna.
Well, actually, the other reason why going big early was important for us, Alex, is that the platform that we bring to the company is surrounded by a cultural activation. We don't just give you the platform and let you use it or not use it. We always launch with a fireside chat with me or our chief training officer, the CHRO, often the CEO. Like we launched at CVS, they have 300,000 employees. We launched with a fireside chat with Karen Lynch, who is the CEO, and Lori Havenack, who is the CHRO, and myself. And the reason for that is that we want everybody in the company to have cultural permission to engage in improving their well-being and managing their stress. So it doesn't feel just, oh, here's another benefit they gave me. And we collect stories from leaders that we add to the platform so the platform feels customized. Like if we're launching a TechCrunch, when you are a Fortune 100 company, will come to you. We would like to have a story from you, or how are you recharging by playing with your daughter, or how you are dealing with the sleep deprivation of having a newborn, whatever it is, some personal details that have a huge impact on people who work for you, because then they feel they can also bring their whole selves to work and share their own stories.
One, absolutely. But I'm curious about, like, is the culture of trying to invest and care more for employees more something that we're seeing at the enterprise level? Because one thing that I've seen working for companies large and small is that at a small company, there's like a mini fridge with a couple of LaCroix for Mamoon. And in a big company, when you pull up your software backend, there's 6,000 applications. They're trying to do this. And so is the mid-market as attractive for a Thrive type product, Arianna? Do they have the same cultural bent towards using stuff like this?
Yes, I think increasingly so. And one of the ways that we are going to go into the mid-market is through partnerships. Like, for example, through Mamoon, I met the CEO of Rippling, and Rippling has actually become our own payroll and benefit provider. So we are looking at bringing Thrive to Rippling customers. So instead of us having to go retail, smaller company by smaller company, we can partner and bring our behavioral change layer through a company like Rippling that is already dealing with thousands of smaller companies.
I like that behavioral change layer.
It was actually Mamoon's idea. Mamoon had a leadership conference at Kleiner, and he strategically placed me next to the Rippling CEO.
And ladies and gentlemen, deal making in Silicon Valley explained. It's where you sit at dinner. That is where the deals get done. So Mamoon, Arianna said that she's doubled her customer base in the last year and a half, nearly 2 years. And the last round was a $80 million Series C. Has the expansion or growth of Thrive met expectations over at Kleiner in the last couple of years?
It has. It certainly has. And I think, but our expectations continue to rise. And so I would say, though, there are some macro tailwinds, just broadly speaking, for the economy right now in 2023 and at the second half of last year. And I think just even the best of the best companies are seeing those headwinds. And did I say tailwinds earlier? But headwinds. And we'll see. I think, I'm an eternal optimist. But I do think this year will be just tougher for most companies as they're we're going through some uncertain times even prior to last week. But a startup's job is to grow, and Thrive has been growing.
Is it perhaps thriving? Sorry, I could not make it that awful. I'm a dad now. I can make dad jokes. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
But it's also, Alex, it's also a way for us to look at new opportunities to bring to market. For example, you mentioned the daily check-in. When we have just one question for each employee, that's like a moment of reflection. Some could be personal questions. Some can be about your load at work or your relationship with your manager. But depending on your answers, we don't just recommend Thrive. Mm-hmm. And that's what the HR teams love. Like if you have modern health, and we know from your answer that you are dealing with a real problem like depression or anxiety, we will recommend that you take advantage of modern health and get a session with a therapist.
Right. So you'll plug into various systems that already may exist. Talkspace is mentioned on your website as well.
Absolutely. We plug into whatever benefits the company has already bought, and almost all companies don't get the utilization that they want to get from buying these benefits. So we help them increase utilization, and we help create a holistic experience for employees, because one of the problems, as you alluded to, is you go online and you have like 40 benefits and you don't know where to go or when. And so we help like organize the ecosystem.
I appreciate that, because every year we have to re-enroll for benefits, and I just frantically click buttons at the last minute and pray that I didn't screw it up. Which goes back to the idea that American healthcare, it just broadly speaking, is just sufficiently broken that I'm hoping that, I don't know if it's Thrive or someone else, can really kind of break through and crack the core of it and improve it. I like that we're working on making it better for employees, for people with mental health issues. I mean, I'm in therapy, it's great. But I hope that there's also someone coming along that's going to smash the current status quo and not just improve how we kind of exist in the current system. And Mamoon, on that point, I'm curious, what is the level of venture interest in companies like Thrive for Modern Fertility, thinking broadly about health? Is it as strong as it was back in, I think it was July of 21 when you did the Thrive deal, or has it maybe come down a bit as the economy is also slowed?
Yeah, I would say it's probably the average of all investments across, whether it's enterprise and fintech, and it goes in and out, but I think it's about the same interest level as it was then. I think the fact that it's 20% of GDP doesn't go away, and it only seems to go up in terms of actual dollars spent. There's many different ways to approach the market. There's you can address patient care. You can address hospital systems, software for hospitals. I mean, I saw a company doing that just a few hours ago. We have some companies that sell AI-enabled software to detect stroke. A company called Viz.ai, and they've been using model. They built their own models and trained a lot of data, and they've done millions of CT scans that they've analyzed, and every day they're helping save lives by detecting strokes that patients that come into the ER. And so there's just so much to do. The surface area is tremendous. And, I continue to be so excited about what we're going to do with technology-enabled companies for healthcare. Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple from the audience, just because if I stick with my questions, I'm going to burn through all of our time. And people are asking about how AI might fit into a Thrive type product. So Arianna, everyone wants to say ChatGPT out loud on their corporate blog, so they seem cool. Is there any implementation coming in the Thrive universe with these new modern LLMs, or is that not particularly relevant to what you're working on?
Oh, no, it's extremely relevant, because everything Mamoon described is in the very important last mile of healthcare. Like when you are sick,
right,
how you get the best diagnosis, the best surgery, drugs, treatment, etc. Where Thrive operates is in the first mile of healthcare, because we know from CDC that 75% of diseases and 75% of healthcare costs are preventable if we change these daily habits around sleep and food and movement and connection and money, stress. All these are the behavior change journeys on the Thrive platform. And we have real data about the impact they have on every disease, not just hypertension, but diabetes, cancer, everything. And we have seen real results in our work with Walmart, for example, of reversing diabetes or hypertension purely with these behavior change microsteps / nudges. Now, that's where AI comes in.
Okay.
The more we use ChatGPT and AI recommendations, the better and the more personalized our recommendations are going to be. And the more personalized they are, the more I kind of know what are the levers that are going to have Alex take these micro steps around sleep and food and movement and focus. The better the outcomes are going to be. So yes, we are very invested in using AI for all these great human purposes.
I've just realized precisely how large of a mountain that you guys are running up by trying to improve people's overall well-being. Because Arianna, you were talking about sleep and exercise and all these things that I think we all know at some level are very important. The problem is, do you know how easy it is to Uber Eats a pizza and sit on the couch? Like, it's amazingly simple. And so you're really not just combating poor habits, but you're also kind of combating like human sloth to a degree. And especially, well, actually, here's the thing. If you can combat burnout, probably people will make better decisions. So I guess I can kind of unite those two things, but it's got to be a tough challenge because sitting down is great.
Absolutely. But also, if you break it down into micro steps, if you're sitting down enjoying your pizza and I come in and say, you know what, Alex, I want you to go to the gym for an hour a day. You may do it for a week and then give up and feel bad about yourself. We give you a tiny, tiny micro step. We call them micro steps too small to fail. BJ Fogg from Stanford is the chairman of our scientific board. His book, Tiny Habits, has informed a lot of our work. So if I give you a tiny micro step around taking the steps instead of the elevator, or taking 60 seconds in the morning before you go to your phone. We have hundreds of micro steps. I think we sent you a whole book that we've published.
You did.
On our micro steps. So these micro steps become healthier habits. And we know unequivocally that when you begin to feel better, because you got more sleep, because you didn't eat as much junk, because you moved more, everything in your life is better. Both your performance and your relationships. It's really moving to have people write about how their relationships with their children and their partners improved because they're not sitting on the couch the whole time eating pizza.
Yeah. I'm very glad.
Alex, you need to wear one of these, a Whoop and
or an Oura Ring.
Or an Oura Ring, right? So
this is like the nerd Power Rangers. It's like Apple Watch, Whoop,
or an Apple Watch,
Oura Ring,
or both.
Oh my gosh! I just want to say I'm glad I moved my Dunkin' Donuts box out of the camera before we started this segment because I would look pretty hypocritical.
No, let me tell you, the Thrive Behavior Change Journey is a judgment-free zone.
Yeah, but sometimes I could use some judgment.
No. Judgment doesn't work. We have all the data. Because if we shame you, if we judge you, you're just going to eat more to feel better.
Yeah, Alex, I'll give you an example. I have a trainer using Future, one of our own companies. Mm-hmm. And it's a real human being who sends me workouts at the beginning of every week. Nick's been with me for 4 years. And I love Nick because he doesn't shame me. He doesn't he knows I've got a busy week coming up. He knows I'll be traveling and he knows I got sick with COVID but he'll, hey, do these stretches, or you went skiing, go do these stretches because I know you can't do a heavy work. So the point that you can't shame people and it just doesn't work. But services and products that adjust to our lifestyles and are just realistic with us, that's working. We're seeing that work.
I'm going to go ahead and just squeeze in one more quick one from the audience before I have to let you guys go. But thank you so much. This has been an absolute treat. From Kevin, how relevant is burnout and so forth when companies are laying off left and right? People are more worried about keeping their jobs than being happier. So how do microsteps, I guess, Arianna, fit into a world in which we're seeing Meta can 10,000 people at a time?
Well, we are in the middle of so many different things happening all at once, right? Meta laying off 10,000 people, other companies hiring. The truth is about whatever is going on in your life, if you can learn to be more present, more in the eye of the hurricane, more able to solve problems instead of moving to what we call negative bias about the future and immediately imagine the worst, the better you're going to be at either facing the layoff or whatever crisis you're dealing with. And that's really at the heart of what we're teaching. That's kind of the fundamental philosophy. That's why Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, is all over our curricula and our learning modules. because, he had to deal with everything. He was the emperor of Rome for 19 years, 13 years of which he had to deal with a huge pandemic. He dealt with betrayals, invasions, and he really teaches us through Meditations, the book he wrote, how can you stay in your center, in the middle of everything? And from that place, you lead better, you manage crisis better, whether it's the SVB crisis or whatever the next crisis is going to be, or the layoff. That's really the key to building a resilient self and a resilient life, which is now more needed than ever. And you have a new baby, I have a new grandson. What do we want for them? We want them to be resilient. We can't protect them from every hardship. When I first had my daughters, I thought I wanted them to be happy. No, I just want them to be resilient.
I feel like, and I have to hand you guys off now. I just, because I can see Burns coming up and giving me the very polite eyes of please shut up and go away. But I wonder if the American working culture was sufficiently different, if ironically Thrive's growth would be slower. And I wonder if that's more of a comment about our country than how we're each handling things. But Burns, I promise to shut up. Here's me shutting up. Back to you.
Thanks, Alex.
Oh, of course. An absolute pleasure, guys. I
will email you the answer to your question.
Please do, because now that I have a kid, I care more about 100 years from now than I did a year ago. So appreciate it. All right. Thank you both. Burns, over to you.
Thank you, Alex. And if you want more of Alex, he's everywhere. He's on multiple podcasts, including our TechCrunch's Equity podcast. He's on Tech News Tonight today, and a couple other things. Tomorrow. Tech
News Tonight tomorrow. I'm on the Engadget podcast. They keep making me say things. I don't know. It's
great.
Lot.
You have a good voice, Alex.
You're good at it.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Arianna, Mamoon, I still have you guys. Now it's my turn. We're going to do pitch practice. And pitch practice is something that we do every week on TechCrunch Live. We bring on 3 companies that are picked during the show. We bring them on, and then they pitch everyone for 2 minutes. And then we're looking for 4 minutes of feedback from the 2 of you. We have all 3 lined up. The first one is Rebecca. Rebecca is coming to us from Orange Therapeutics. And if you would, we're just looking for feedback on the pitch itself, not necessarily your company. Rebecca, I can see you.
Okay, I'll start. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. You have 2 minutes starting now.
Hi, I'm Rebecca, the founder and CEO of Orange Therapeutics. In a paradigm shift, we're advancing the natural language processing capabilities of a virtual human to engage in effective dialogue with the patient to simulate sessions with a human psychologist. Our world-class team consists of our chief computer scientist, who's an expert in natural language dialogue and has published over 400 papers, a distinguished psychosocial intervention specialist, and a renowned chief psychologist. Our conversational autonomous therapists, or CATs, will take the benefits of the gold standard of therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, and package it in a cost-effective, scalable solution accessible remotely, 24/7, at the click of an icon. We differ from existing interventions, which consist of modules or virtual humans that limit the patient's responses. With ours, patients can converse freely. Fewer than 1% of the health and wellness apps are regulated by the FDA, but we're positioning ourselves to be regulated by the FDA as a prescription digital therapeutic to deliver an evidence-based therapeutic solution. We could tackle depression, anxiety. We selected the opioid crisis with a $3 billion market as our initial target population. Medication is generally effective, but doesn't work when drug dropout rates are 80%. We can augment human clinicians in providing CBT to drive adherence. We have also a go-to-market strategy, but time doesn't permit. And thank you for inviting me to present to you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. That was wonderful. Mamoon, let's start with you. Any feedback?
Okay.
Yeah, Rebecca, I love it. I love what you're doing. CBT is highly effective. as a means of addressing lots of things. And I love that you're going after a really acute problem in our country, like the opioid crisis. So really hats off for building what you're building. And we talked about AI earlier and how the potential of providing an autonomous bot to do CBT is one that's the thought of that has been around, and I think there's been some implementations of that previously, but I think the models get better and the bots get better. And the obvious question is like the efficacy of a bot, and to maybe talk about
we
that.
Don't consider it a bot. We're actually building a virtual human that can have real dialogue where the patient can converse freely. The previous generation had limited conversational inputs on the part of the patient, whereas ours, the patient will be able to. We're partnering with the Stanford University School of Medicine and the NYU Grossman School of Medicine on an NIH grant by the NIDA. And I mean, we're applying for a grant, and also our team of computer specialists. But our dialogue systems will not resemble simple bots. It's the new generation. It's a paradigm shift.
Yeah, and just maybe on that, maybe talking about more about the delivery of this digital therapeutic. Whether is it an app? Is it through Slack? Is it through Teams? Is it through text? What the most effective way?
Something that will be prescribed. It's software as a medical device. It will be the 510(k) pathway. So what it will be is, as soon as the clinical psychologist recommends it and prescribes it, then they'll have access to 3 20-minute sessions per week where they could click anytime at all on an icon. The virtual human will resemble and emote like a person. Will also gather data from the person's not just linguistic cues, but facial expression, head movements, eye tracking, to be able to gather the emotional balance of the patient and be able to craft better responses.
Great, so much. Let's go over to Arianna and get some feedback from her.
Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Hi, Arianna.
Hi, I love what you're doing. I
Thank you.
love how in your pitch you stressed how science-based your offering is. The people you gather together to launch it, mentioning now your partnership with Stanford School of Medicine. I think all that is great. Maybe one thing that I would probably add is, if you're going for FDA approval, to maybe say a little more about what's the roadmap for that. And
so what the wonderful thing is, I've been in touch with high-level FDA officials. Because of the pandemic, there's an EUA, emergency use authorization, for computer interventions that treat psychiatric disorders. So they feel that we have to officially apply once we launch, but they feel that our intervention, in fact, fits the parameters for such an emergency use authorization. So we wouldn't have to do a randomized controlled trial that would cost $12 million or something, and we could launch it instead and gather the patient data. Because
that's great, Rebecca. This is fantastic. I love your passion. You're clearly into this deeply. This is fantastic. I think what Arianna is trying to say is that it's important to mention that stuff up front. That's really good information to have.
Right. Thank you, Arianna. And by the way, employee stress was one of the reasons that impetus for us to start these kinds of virtual human therapists.
Okay.
Wonderful. And, we are working at Thrive with the University of Virginia on the opioid crisis. So maybe we can talk and see how we can bring you into that.
I'd love to. Thank you so much. And thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it.
Best of luck to you, Rebecca, and please keep in touch.
Thank you very much. And nice meeting you, Mamoon, as well.
Nice to meet you, Rebecca. Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, that was great. Next one, we have Santa. Santa's coming to us from Rubication. Did I say that right? Are you there? I can see you. If you can click on your camera. There you are. Wonderful. Hi there. You have 2 minutes to pitch your company starting now.
Okay. Hi, everyone. If you have grandparents, you know that older adults can suffer from several chronic healthcare conditions, from dementia, stroke, or diabetes that can limit their mobility as they age. With limited mobility, which will affect over 85 million Americans, comes the risk of deadly and chronic skin breakdown that can lead to chronic wounds known as bed sores that kill 60,000 people each year. The condition essentially is when your skin dies and the underlying tissue also dies, leaving your bone exposed in the worst cases. It's expensive to treat, costing the US healthcare system $26 billion each year. So pervasive, costly, and devastating is this condition that Medicare has flagged it, requiring all facilities to report it, making them both legally and financially liable for the condition. The good news, though, is that this is all preventable if you can catch the condition early and monitor it using patient-specific data. However, the current solutions are either too expensive, difficult to use, or manual and unreliable. At Rubitection, we're addressing this problem by providing caregivers with the Rubitech assessment system. It's a low-cost, easy-to-use, AI-enabled platform that allows any user to identify the condition and monitor it using patient-specific data to develop patient-specific care plans. We will sell our product into hospitals, nursing homes, and home care agencies using a recurring revenue model, allowing us to dominate a $4.3 billion US market. By partnering with strategic sales and distribution partners like Smith & Nephew, we can grow to over $243 million in sales within 6 to 7 years of launching the product on the market. And our team has the technical and business expertise to solve this growing healthcare problem while building a profitable business. So I invite you today to join our revolution to improve healthcare for our grandparents today and for ourselves and our parents in the future. Thank you so much for your time. We're currently raising a seed round and looking for potential partners to collaborate with. Thank you.
Very good, Santa. I like that a lot. That was well rehearsed. Mamoon, can we start with you again?
Yeah, sure. Santa, really, thank you for educating me on this opportunity. I did not know much about this market. And with that, I don't have a full appreciation of the nuances involved with your business. I would have loved to hear more about the delivery of the product, as well as what sort of regulatory requirements are needed to launch the product, and the timelines and costs involved. And then maybe lastly, also what makes you and your team uniquely qualified to go after this opportunity? Is there some technology moat? Is there some work that you're in your prior background that you've done that gives you insights into how to do this differently or with more technology or with a better delivery system?
Yeah, that's good feedback. Yeah, very good. Arianna, over to you.
Well, first of all, like Mamoon, I love being educated about a very specific problem in healthcare. And I love the fact that we are focusing on prevention, which is my passion, and that you have a way for caregivers to identify this problem before it becomes the major individual crisis and family crisis that you are describing. Yes. So thank you. All that was great. And maybe one thing that I would have loved to hear more of is how do you go to market, and what are your forecasts in the immediate future, in the next year or two? You mentioned 6 to 7 years, which I think is probably a long horizon, right, Mamoon, for raising money. You may want to have some milestones on the way to 6 to 7 year revenue so that people are going to be more likely to invest and see some results in the more immediate future. But I'm sure that's something you can do.
Yeah, so we to address your questions, we have that. It's a 2-minute pitch. But yes, it's simply just to give you a taste and whet your appetite to learn more and ask these questions. But it is a patented solution. It's a solution that I invented as part of my PhD research at Carnegie Mellon. It's a low-risk FDA pathway in terms of time to market. We're currently raising a $2 million seed that will allow us to do additional technology development. We already have a functional prototype, but additional technology development and more patient data before we go into product development and initial soft launch with our clinical collaborators. So we do have those 2 to 3 year milestones, but our vision is really getting the capital we need to become profitable. And in terms of those milestones, in terms of technology and FDA and clinical data, it's just standard in healthcare, which is why I didn't mention them. It's just a standard pathway that we have to hit. And knowing that, we're trying to raise the money to do that so that we can become profitable and do sales.
Sam, I have a good feeling about you, that this is fantastic. Everything you've answered has been right on key. So very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really love it. And I love if there is a personal story, like of how you got interested in, I mean, that might be also interesting to include. I mean, obviously, this is such a specific area, and maybe there was something in your own life that you're exposed to, and you decided to find a solution for this problem.
Yes. So I don't have a personal connection to it. My personal connection to it is just my passion for healthcare and solving problems with low-cost solutions and developing technology that can address health equities. And this is a huge health equity for people of color, because you can't see the condition developing until it's too late, and then it leads to amputation, a full body infection, which can lead to sepsis. And there's also broader applications in dermatology. So I don't have a specific personal connection.
I think in this case, to stop you, I think in this case, your answer right there was good enough for me. Absolutely. Your passion is evident. So just leave with that.
Yeah.
That was actually a great answer. And I agree. I would definitely incorporate it into the pitch.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your time and the feedback. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we got one more. Sab is coming to us from Mindwell Labs. Sab, I can see you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for asking. You have 2 minutes to present your company, starting now.
Thank you. Hi, Mamoon. Hi, Arianna. I don't know if you guys recall, we have met before. Arianna, when you were launching Huffington Post, and I was running product at NBC Digital, and Mamoon when you were at Social Capital. So excited to be here. I'm a co-founder CEO of Mindwell Labs. It's a mental wellness and performance company based in New York City. We are solving the global mental health crisis in a very unique way by empowering consumers to become their own therapist. We believe that our crisis will not be solved by the industry. It will be solved by consumers themselves. 2 main reasons. One, industry's approach to mental health is actually broken. It treats mental health as a disease. It's not. It creates unnecessary stigma and shame. It continues to medicate people heavily despite us having an opioid crisis. And finally, it does not use objective data and metrics. And secondly, there's a huge supply and demand gap. More than 1 billion people need help globally. And in America, a rich country, the number of therapists available cover less than 10% of population. So we are building technologies to empower consumers to be able to read their mind, become their own therapist. And how we are doing it? Well, what we believe we need in the industry, what we have built is a real-time tracker of our mental health, which we have built. So we have launched AQ, the first consumer app for anxiety management using real-time biofeedback. And it's a software-only product. It's compatible with every hardware. Right now, we are only on Apple Watch because we are a startup and Apple has 50 million watches in America. It pulls your vitals from a watch and converts them into your mental state, anxiety or calm in real time based on proven science globally available. And what real-time monitoring does is it allows us to look at your patterns and provide you personalized insights so that you can understand what in your life from day to day affects your mental health. You may wake up as a calm person, but you may become very anxious by lunchtime, right? And we have that data. So our AI can look at those patterns and provide those insights for you to understand what in your life, who do you meet, where do you go, who do you talk to, what do you do, which makes you anxious, and also what calms you down. So those insights help you modulate your lifestyle so you can be less anxious and more calm. And finally, we'll also provide you real-time training to help you with your mental health if and when you need it. And since we are tracking in real time, it's a closed loop system. We can see the efficacy of the intervention we have given you, whether you did calm down, you were anxious, we gave you a soundscape or a breathing exercise or meditation, or not. And as we learn about you, we become more and more precise about what intervention work for each person.
I gotta jump in. I gotta jump in here and stop you.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's all right. You were going, and I wanted to hear more about it, so I let you go. But this sounds like a perfect company for Arianna. Can we start with you?
Absolutely. I think it's fantastic to be able to address the supply and demand gap. I mean, that's a very real problem, especially all around the world. And to give more power to each individual to track how they are doing, to give them insights, and then to give them solutions. One thing I wasn't clear about are the solutions you are suggesting all within the product, or are you also suggesting things they can do in their lives?
It's a fully automated, fully contained app. It's all in the product. So all the trainings and everything is in the app.
And also, are you at the place at the moment where the AI recommendations are sufficiently smart, or do you have some development work to do?
So the AI actually works in two ways. One is that by analyzing your data throughout your day to identify your triggers, and those insights will help you understand. We don't know what's happening in your environment, right? We talk about 4 Ws, what, where, who, when. So we provide you insights about how your anxiety patterns are, how your calm patterns are, so you can understand by relating to your environment what you were doing at that time when you really got anxious or when you got calm. So that's AI used there. The recommendation for the content, which is the intervention, is also based on AI, but that's where we actually learn over time what works. So we use 4 different modalities: CBT, DBT, mindfulness, neuropsychology, because everybody is unique. So we want to see what is working for each person so that we can learn and then offer you those kind of interventions.
That was a great answer. And I was just looking up on PitchBook how much dry powder Thrive has, and maybe they can buy you. Mamoon, let's go over to you.
Yeah, really cool. Really, what I wanted to know more about is just the biometric data that you're making sense of, because it seems like it's like almost like too good to be true, and what the methodology behind it and the science behind it and like the research behind that gives you the confidence that you can get to a baseline level of like out of the box. This works for any one of us here, because as I showed earlier, I have both a Whoop and an Apple Watch, but my Apple Watch probably gives you enough, it seems, to give me some baseline recommendations. And so that's number one. And the second one was just around, you mentioned the content, and it's a sort of self-enclosed app and has everything sort of one-stop shop. Just how much of this do you have to recreate versus partner with others who have produced content or built things, Calm, Headspace, Thrive, Modern Health, like there's lots of good stuff out there. And how much of that do you have to go rebuild versus use someone else's content libraries?
You have 40 seconds. I'll let you answer that.
So quickly, we pull your commodity biomarkers we can pull from any hardware, and we convert them into anxious or calm state. And there's a physiological biomarker in the body when you get anxious, when you get calm. If you go to a doctor for an anxiety checkup once a year, we run the same check every two minutes when you get a new BPM from your hardware, right? So now we have a monitor, but it's a clinical grade. And we have now tracked that with our members' data for more than 1.5 million hours. So it's very well proven and tested. And you can download our apps called AQ. It's available on App Store, on Apple Watch, and you can see that it tracks anxiety and calm in real time, or in accurately, I should say. On the second part, yes. I mean, to start, we have built our own content, but the way we think about content is open source. This wisdom has been around for thousands of years, and we have globally renowned, mindfulness experts and all this. You can see the library here, right? But our plan here is to build an open platform where we can invite these teachers to build content based on our specifications, and we use the technology to actually deliver that in a precise manner for each person. So we bring the best experts to develop content. Sharon Salzberg, Arianna may know, she's an advisor. She has built loving kindness meditation trainings for us, right? So we have built ourselves, but that's not where we'll spend a lot of time.
Well, that was great. I learned a lot today, especially about wellness. These pitch practice companies have been fantastic too. So thank you all for everyone participating. Arianna, Mamoon, thank you. Saab, that was great. But we're going to be back again tomorrow. So we're not done for the week. Tomorrow we have Sequoia and Vanta stopping by. We'll talk to them about security and layoffs. So please join us again tomorrow. If not, we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.